it's been a bit since I posted to this channel, and I'm doing this for myself. I'm not trying to gain any sort of following here. I've used this channel to just see my life change. It holds a lot of different eras and memories, and I realized now it's 2024, and I realized that something broke in me in 2016, and I've buried more than I realized. And now the more I see that, the more I just want to cry and say sorry. I have a picture up on my screen, and it's a picture I took where I had my box of t-shirts for my business venture. And the truth is, I used that to distract myself from reality. I felt like a big failure. I never really truly knew why something as simple as a breakup from someone I dated for 7 months broke me. It wasn't about that person though. It could have been anyone. There's nothing special about that particular person. It's just the fact that when I was 16 years old, in fact, I was probably even 15 too, as early as 15 years old, I committed myself to my future husband. I was so determined to find him through friendship, and I never wanted to make a mistake. I think what happened is when I did get in a relationship, it was with someone that I was specifically trying to figure out feelings and stuff through friendship. And I kept trying to walk away. And on my last attempt to walk away, he changed his mind, I guess. And I think that's where the innocent me who, could still faithfully wait for her future husband and never have been with anyone but him, I think she still existed up until that point. And I feel like I lost myself. And I have to go back in time, acknowledge the reality, and forgive myself before I can officially move forward with peace in my heart. Unfortunately, I can't have peace with that person because he refuses to, apologize and say anything after all this time. I've made one attempt that I thought he didn't notice in an email. Thought maybe he never noticed it, never saw it. Forgot all about it, in fact, until I made the second, which felt like the first attempt, to say, hey, there's no peace. Could we get peace? Accused me of stuff that wasn't true, and then blocked me. Happened so quick. I was like, okay. First of all, I never did anything wrong. Told me I was harassing and threatening him. Okay, my husband knew about the whole thing. He told me, if you need that, it's okay, it's fine, you can message him. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to try to be friends. I don't want to talk to this guy on the norm. I don't want to be involved in his life anymore at all. I haven't been, in 8 years. I just wanted peace. I just wanted forgiveness and to forgive with my words. Anyway, that opened a can of a lot of worms. That made me realize who he truly was. And it made me go back in time and realize that what bothered me the most, among many things, I guess, but one of the things that bothered me the most was the fact that the Stephanie I was before him was gone, and I didn't get to keep my promise. This is something I have to forgive myself over, but the promise that I didn't get to keep was a promise to my future husband. And I have to tell myself, literally, my husband, I am married now, he would not think back on that time and be like, you didn't wait for me. You thought I was that guy. You wasted my time. I put that in my mind as if like I was going to hurt him if I mistaked him for the wrong person. And I don't know. That's just how I lived. I don't know why, but that's just who I was. And I think that it felt like a big giant failure to me. That I was wrong. That was not the guy I was going to be with. I should have been stronger to say no. I was trying to say no. I think I just have to go back in time and say you did everything you could within your power, Stephanie, to protect yourself from being hurt. But life happens. Things happen. I started to go back and, well, by back I mean I started to come across some pictures from 2016. And that's why I started crying right before making this. Because I recognized that there's something about 2016. I've buried a lot of it away. There are memories I forgot about completely. Like the hurt and pain overshadowed the good memories. But those good memories remind me of how I was pretending to be okay for so long. I saw some like group photos and group videos of me with my church group. And how I clung to these people. Because without these people, I don't know who I would be. I really don't. I was barely surviving in 2016. The old me was dead and I didn't know who I was anymore. And I wandered around. I made a video actually confessing this depression and laziness. And I was like, I kind of just feel like I'm wandering and nobody notices me. I felt like I became invisible. I didn't know what to believe anymore. I couldn't trust my feelings. I couldn't trust anything besides God. And I went to church every single Sunday and clung to my church group and was desperate every Sunday to get a good message in because I was so broken. I stopped believing that anyone actually cared for me besides, like my mom and sister or something. But I'm reminded that I had people that were trying to just be there in my life. When I see these pictures, I think I was so broken I couldn't see anything. But there were people. And I do recognize, I have recognized some of these people. I just forgot about the memories I had too. Because I would never want to relive 2016. Heck, not even 2015. I think in 2013 when I lost my dad, I lost a little part of my identity. I think that when I lost more of my identity in 2016 and maybe even 2015, it just made it harder to feel like myself. To add to it all, I broke so much that I just could only find a break or happiness from it all. I could only find that whenever I was eating or drinking Pepsi. So as time went on, I didn't recognize myself anymore. And I think the problem is that when I see myself with weight gain, to me it's a symbol of bad things in my life. The thing is that I have stretch marks from gaining weight, but I also have stretch marks from having a baby in 2021. And the interesting thing about that is when I see the stretch marks from the baby, I remember what I went through to bring him into the world. And those don't make me sad. Those don't make me feel ugly at all. Even my perfectionist is just like, my skin's not perfect. It doesn't make me sad though. But when I see the other stretch marks, I remember how I just let myself go. To me, my weight gain was literally directly from the bad stuff in my life. And I haven't been able to figure out how to heal from that. But the more I realize how broken I was in 2016 and why, I think it's starting to become a little bit easier to at least know and understand why I buried it and why I was so broken. And somehow it does affect my marriage, because I was the girl dreaming of getting married. I was writing my future husband letters. I was falling in love with this idea of him in my head when I was single. That's what got me through, what helped me stay single for so long, up until 25. And I understand a little bit more now as I go down this memory lane and try to figure out, when did I break? When did it all go down? And I am now starting to see that bigger picture. And now I have to remind myself that past Stephanie didn't know. You know? The thing that mattered the most to me for so long was just being faithful to my future husband. And by the time I met Darren, my husband, and we started dating, I was so bitter, not towards him, but towards my past. In fact, I friend-zoned him because I was like, I'm not gonna make that mistake again. And he loved me anyway. All the things I was afraid of, he didn't even care. I was afraid that he'd see my acne. I was afraid he'd see my crooked teeth. I was afraid he'd find out who I am, that I'm sensitive, emotional. But somehow he never fed those thoughts, though. Like, I already had them, but he didn't make it worse, because from day one, he's just like, I like you. I was like, okay, I just want to be friends. He's like, okay, as long as you know I like you. That's fine, but I like you. And he's not changed. He's still like that. I believe he is. I mean, at least he's convincing me. So, I guess I just felt like if I could talk this out, I didn't feel like I had anyone to technically talk to right now. I didn't want to impose on anyone. My best friend's going through something. I was just like, okay, you know what? This is a moment I got to get through. And I've been documenting my life off and on for over a decade now. I think I started documenting my life about 2010, maybe 2009. Actually, it might have been 2009, I don't know. So this is a big part, I guess, of healing and realizing that I have to forgive myself. My husband's clearly not upset that he's not the very first relationship for me. But in reality, and if it makes me feel any better, he is the first real relationship. He actually does like me. He actually, wanted to pursue me. And that's the first and only time in my life. But I have to forgive myself because I spent so much time in the beginning of my relationship with him being very confused. I didn't know how I would know who I'm gonna marry. I didn't need to. I needed to just be living in the present, but I was just so broken that I spent a lot of time wondering, am I paying attention? Did I make a mistake? And then it'd be like, okay, but your husband's so faithful, he's so giving, he's so kind. And I'm just like, yeah, I would literally go crazy if he left me. I would be a total hot mess. Like, I know I don't want to lose him. But it just took me so long, I guess, to realize, like, I was still so broken. And I don't want to spend more time, like, not realizing that, I don't even know how to word all of this. I don't want to spend more of my time not understanding, like, the reality that, like, God brought Darren into my life. Because God knew I needed that. He knew exactly what I needed. I never knew what I needed. I thought I knew what I needed. I was wrong. I wanted a singer. He doesn't sing, so that was maybe a joke. But it's not that important, you know. We don't know what we want for ourselves because we don't actually know what good it's going to do. Or not good. But God knew I needed someone who would look past all of my flaws and just think that I'm good enough. I'm not a failure. In fact, when we first started talking, he told me that he liked my innocence. That's something people made fun of me over all my life, but he liked it. I didn't understand half of his weird guy jokes. And he would apologize sometimes. He was like, no, I don't want to corrupt you. I like that you're innocent. And so he would hold back from weird jokes. I see now that I needed that. I see now that the broken Stephanie would have never been convinced otherwise if I didn't have exactly who he was and is. I know he'll probably watch this video because he watches everything that I post. Well, he probably won't find this video unless I tell him, but he's the most supportive person besides my dad. My dad was definitely the most supportive person, and my mom. I usually point out my dad first, though, because he had a way of speaking to me. And I lost him, and so that part is just so sensitive to me. So my mom and sister are very supportive. But when it comes to a man in my life, my dad was something hard to replace. Can't replace, but something hard to match up to. But my husband came along, matched up to that. Something that, my past relationship, it would have never happened. He was not that kind of person. I would have been miserable for the rest of my life if I stayed. I'm glad he broke it off because I am just not that kind of person. And I don't know, but I feel like because of the broken part in my past, because of what happened to me in 2016, where I realized that my old self was just completely gone and I didn't know who I was, and I was sad and depressed and was eating my feelings away. I think because of that, it's making right now, 2024, more powerful. It's making the relationship I have with my husband shine brighter than it ever would have if I never went through that. So, that being said, to past Stephanie, I have that picture that I'm looking at. I'll show you really quick. This is when hopefully you can see it. This is when I got my t-shirts for my business, and I was trying to prove that I could succeed. because success is so important to me. But I was broken for sure. So to past Stephanie that I see, I forgive myself. I do. For half of it not even being my fault, but I kind of just shut down and hid behind Pepsi and food and business. What else was I gonna do, you know? I was broken. I needed to heal. Everyone needs time to heal from traumatic events in their life or traumatic time periods in their life. And I needed to heal. But I don't need to drag this on any longer. I recognize it now. I recognize the pain and the hurt. I kind of did back in 2017 and 2018, especially after I met my husband. I recognized that, like, I was kind of bitter and mean and angry towards the person in my past. And so I reached out to him to get that peace, but I never heard back from him. That I actually forgot. I sent that email and just was like, okay, whatever. Went about my life. Got engaged, got married, got pregnant, bought a house, had a kid, sold the house, paid off debt. I went through so much. And then I got to this point. Things started to settle down. We've been in this house for over a year now. It's kind of a record for us. I mean, for renting. Our record is 2 years in one house, but renting is 1 year. Or 10 years. Now this one is longer. It's been like 11 years? I'm going to say months. Anyway, just forget it. I don't know what I'm saying. My point is I think it's settled down enough for me to, like, really actually spend some time thinking about it. So then I thought, I'm going to go get that peace from that person. And he shut me down. And I think that at least opened up, you know, the reality of my situation. I know I wasn't going to get the peace that I wanted through talking, but I can at least get it through God. And I think God has allowed me to really truly see what's been going on and to figure it out. And for that, I am very grateful. As hard as it's been going down this memory lane thing, and I wrote a song and I have a music video planned and I'm going to make a dress. This is a big part of my life because, yeah, it's uncovering things that I buried without even ever realizing how it's affected my current life. And I'm a deep thinker. I feel things very deeply, so I'm sure everyone has these, but they just don't feel it deeply enough to look. But I wanted to. I wanted to look. I wanted to kind of clean out the closet, if you will. I wanted to do this deep cleaning to be like, you know what? I just keep pushing the mess to the side, like, oh, that's old news, and oh, you know, like, oh, I'm thankful for my husband, or like, oh, things are great. But in reality, it's like, I needed to pull it out. Like, you know what? No, I need it out completely. I need to pull it out, clean it up, and let it go. So all of those years, which would have been about a decade or so, a decade actually, of believing that my only relationship would ever be with my future husband, I gotta release that. And just be like, you were doing your best. You were doing whatever you needed to do to protect yourself. You can't control other people, and that's okay. I couldn't control the people in my life who hurt me just as much as I can't control the good people. I don't need to control. My desire to take control or something is in efforts to protect myself, but we can't always protect ourselves. That's why we need God and our loved ones. So thank you. People who I'm thinking may never watch this video, but thank you to the friends who still smiled and laughed with me when I was completely broken. And they probably didn't even know how broken I was. They knew what I went through, but thank you to the friends who distracted me from the realities so I could smile, at least for a little while. The friends who believed in me, the friends who took care of me when I was my complete worst. Thank you. And thank you to my now husband for taking me in and loving me wherever I was, however I am. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't judge me for who I am. Thank you. I am now a proud wife. I love being a wife. I love having a husband, and I love that the husband that I have is who he is. I love being a mom and seeing a little tiny human look up to me. He hugs me whenever I ask him. He gives me a kiss whenever I ask him. It's like, can I have a kiss? He gives me a kiss. Can I have a big hug? He gives me a big hug. Usually, if I'm about 95% of the time, he will just randomly say, I want mama, I want mama. So, sometimes it's annoying, but at the end of the day, I'm so happy that he, acknowledges that he needs me. So, with that being said, this was a good breakthrough moment, and it's documented for future Stephanie, if I ever forget.